All right, our students, welcome back to another class. So today I have decided to do some classic hero poses. I noticed that people do like the basic hero poses, and I did have a couple people ask me for just some basic poses. So what I'm going to do is I want to do some basic hero poses for those people that have characters and are not really ready to start to draw the comic books. They're still working on the anatomy and they want to basically show their heroes off to do some nice poses. I'm going to do just a quick little short series on the basic poses and kind of get into detail the anatomy a little bit more. Forgive my voice because I just woke up and I said let me get this video out so that I can run outside and look for some gas and then do some yard work. So first of all, as I say, forgive my voice because it's I just jumped out of bed. The torso, and I've gone over the torso I think in a number of videos, but it's the torso that is your lead character to the body, okay? And I'm just doing a couple quick ones. Now you can either have the front going this way, or you can turn it going this way, or you can turn it going that way. I guess I shouldn't use so many lines. And that's the one thing you start out with first is your torso, and everything else follows. So you figure out that part first when you're doing the basic hero. And we'll do some upper shots later on down the line, but since I just said that, let's just do that. So you have a torso, and this is going to be more of a down shot. So instead of this being straight, I didn't do that one. You're going to get that, depending on how much you look down at it, you're going to get that. This is going to turn into more of a V. So once you figure that out, then you can continue on with your character pose. So if this is just going to be just up just a little bit, you're going to get a little bit of bend in that collarbone, and the higher you go, the more it's going to become that V, because this whole thing is round. So you have to understand that. You have two bones from your collar. I don't have my little dummy by me. So it's a bone that goes from here out and from here out, and they're basically kind of almost straight. So if you take a circle looking very much down from the top, all the way from the top, and there's a bone right here, it goes around a half a circle, and there's a bone right here, it goes around a half a circle. It's not going to go straight out like this. It's not going to go straight out like that. So in order to go around this circle or oval, it's got to turn in a little bit. And that's how your collarbone is if you're looking down, straight down. If this is his head, this is his nose and his ear. So, and that hooks up to that delt, and that other delt, and that arm, like that. So it's going to, the more you tilt that person over, or the more, how's the word I'm saying? The higher you go with the camera, the more this line is going to be turned in. So just remember that as you're drawing. And that's why I say that's the first step in drawing your figure, is where is that torso going to go, and how are you looking at the torso? Because as I say, everything else follows. Is this blurred? I can't really see if this is blurred or not. All right, so anyway, let us begin the basic hero pose. And I'm going to do just the basic of the basic hero pose. So let me visualize my actual size of the character, because wherever you put your collar, your torso, is going to determine how big that picture is going to be. Now, if I put my torso way up here, this is going to be my collarbone. I won't have enough room for my head. So basically, all you need is just enough room for your head. So if I say, okay, this is going to be my torso right here. All I need is room for my head, and I have plenty of room for my legs. So let me draw a little darker. And what I want to do is I want to copy this, and I want to make, for each pose that I do, I want to make just a generic character. I'm going to put clothes on them and make a generic character. So I want to do this in a non-photocopying color because I'm going to have to photocopy this. Okay, so, and we're going to tilt the, we're going to turn the torso this way. Hopefully you guys can see that in the monitor. Maybe in editing it'll get darker, hopefully. I don't want it too dark because, as I said, I'm going to erase and I'm going to ink this and then photocopy it and then put a costume on the original. But I want the photocopy to be neat enough for me to use later. Okay, so again, my steps in my torso, always oval, center line, and then the cross. That's usually the first 3 steps. The 4th step is the tunnel. And then I'll go for the sides. I never really named this, but this is where the body turns, and then the chest, which is just above the tunnel. And then it turns right here. So I'm gonna have my arms, my delts, and your delts basically come down a little kind of about the length of your chest. Sometimes I make mine shorter, but that's just my style. Everybody has their style, but once you learn what goes where and how it goes this and that, then it's okay. So then I want to bring down, now when you turn it from the side, where's on my front? When you go from the front like this, a lot of times I will bring that waist down like that. A lot of times, but bring your waist out a little bit more without it being too fat, because this is really this. Sometimes I narrow this out because once it hits that curve, it comes down. But the main point that I'm trying to say is, if I do this, this is my the rib cage. This is the shape of the rib cage. So a lot of times I'll just bring my waist out at the ends of this. Now, the main thing that I'm trying to say is, when you tilt it to the side like that, you can bring one down here, but you can't bring the other one down here at that line. You have to bring it over like that, because you have to have room for your love handles, which are your obliques, because that's where it kind of turns in at here, at that oblique muscle. So you can get away with it here, but I always bring it in like that, leaving enough room here. So it's just something you have to remember when you do that. Same thing on the other side. Down, and then give a little bit of a waist. Give a little bit of waist. And even if this, I bring it in right here. Too many lines, bro. I'm kind of getting messy on you guys. My obliques go here, and then my hips. Hips and waist, I don't know what it is about that. I keep messing those two up. So if I draw on the hips and I say the waist, you understand. If I'm drawing the waist and I say the hips, understand. All right, so as I said, bring this down. Bring this out a little bit more. You don't want to bring it way out here because that makes them too fat. It gives them, this big old fat hips. Hips, waist, see? So let me bring this down. You don't want to give them too much waist. And then the hips coming down. So that's just the upside down house, and I'll round it off. And because his shoulders are, this is straight across, you're looking right at him. And if this is light, and this is light, I got my light on. Let me cut my light off and see what happens. That makes it worse. Let me cut my light back on and dim it down a little bit. That's a little better. Okay, so we have this now. Jesus, his legs are going to be right at the bottom. So we'll have one leg straight down, kind of, and the other leg out. And the weight is going to be on this leg right here. So that's why that leg is kind of going to be straight down. So let's draw the outer leg first and get that in proportion, the size that I need by just drawing that oval like that, putting that knee on there, and then putting the rest of that leg on there. So you have your knee right here in the center almost. I think your knees are more tilted to the front, but for just the sake of it, we'll just do this little diamond shape kind of. So you have this come down and you have this meat that comes around here on the front of your knee and then going in for your shin bone, and then you have your calf like that. Same thing on the outside. You have that little meat on the outside, and then your calf, and then your come in. And I always curve mine in, curve it in, like I curve this in like that. So, and later on you look at it. Remember, this has got to be as long as this. So I'll draw it real quick, then I'll stop for a second, then I'll look at it, then I'll come back and say, oh, that's, you know, that's not right. I'll change that. So I'm not necessarily want this straight down, but I'm going to have it out just a little bit. So of course the thigh, the crotch is going to be here. So part of that leg is going to be back here behind that other leg. So, and I'll make this round. I'll give them the fat thighs. My knee here. Of course, you're going to have that meat back here. And then you're going to have your calf. This is going to be in the front, so you're not going to get any meat in front of that. And then you have this bone here, and then that comes around. Making sure it looks kind of good. And then I'll end it where my ankles are going to be at. So one is going to be a little higher than the other, and then I put my foot in there, which is just that half a triangle. It also depends on, you can flatten the foot out like that, like he's standing on solid ground. He is standing on solid ground. Flat ground, like this, and I can do this. Well, this one's going to be like that anyway. Or I can round that foot off. See, I just use half a triangle for the time being until I know that it'll fit. Or this one, instead of being flat, I can just kind of round it off a little bit more. And that kind of shows you that you're above that a little bit. You're above that. So I don't want it that much because this is flat. So I'm liking the legs so far. I might drop these a little bit more. And that's why I say whenever you finish drawing, before you even consider inking, walk away from your picture for a while. So this is going to come up. It's going to curve around. Since this whole thing is a curve, since this one is the same one, this whole thing is a curve, right? So I'm going to curve it around and then go up, up for the head. So my head is going to be here. Just the chin is going to be touching the top of this circle here. And if you have problems doing the oval, just do a square or rectangle first. Then you can come down with the neck. And the neck comes from this point here up there, because I always draw a V, and that's something I didn't tell you guys to do. From here, this point here, the cross, excuse me, hiccups, I do my V, and then my neck comes up from there. So I always put my chin right here. If it's a straight on shot, if I'm looking straight on at him, I put my chin here, and then I come up, and then like that, with that neck straight with that side of the face. If you make the neck smaller, then the guy loses his power. He's less powerful. Yeah, we'll get into that part later. So if I'm bringing it in a little bit, like if the camera's above the character, here's my mouse. Let's just use this as a center line example. And the camera's straight down at it, which is above you. So if I tilt it a little bit, that chin is going to come in, like if that chin is here, and I tilt it, the chin is going to come into the, here's my little head. all this time I could have just got my little dummy like this. So if I tilt it in, you see how this little piece of roundness right here goes right into the blue. It's like sitting on top of it. So if I tilt it, it goes into the blue. So that chin is going to come in forward as well. Hopefully that was a good example for you guys. So instead of the chin being off the line, off that circle, I will bring the chin down into the circle. Yeah, my voice is like morning voice. Like that, and you still have that V that goes out to the chin. So the more you tilt it up, the further that head is going to come into that body. Like that. So if I took it all the way up, just like I did this one, you won't see any part of the neck. And the collarbone is going to be basically right up under that neck. Not way out like that, but yeah. So as I say, it's the torso that is the lead character of drawing the body. Male, female, whatever. Get that torso right. So I'm going to put his hands on his hips, waist, same thing. So if I do that, I will figure out where I want to put the hands first with just a circle. I don't try to draw any detail until I get it in there right. So then I will say, okay, we get this part. Because that's the hardest part of drawing any position, is where you're going to put the hands and the feet. The rest is pretty simple. If you get that's the easy part. Some people stress over this, I think, because they try to draw muscles first. Don't try to draw a bunch of muscles first. Just get it in there right. And then you can figure out where your hands go and your hands and arms are going to go. And I can drop that down a little bit more. Yeah, I'm on that line between two pieces of paper. That's why I can't get it. And then this one, let me drop it just a little bit. And there's a muscle from the thumb that goes here, and it curves up into the bicep and tricep. Okay, so I'm gonna have to bring that up. This has gotten too long, so I'm gonna have to tilt this up more. This is why I really don't do detail. I was doing detail in this, and I don't do detail until I get it right. And I just use the basic shapes. Then I'll go and add detail to it. And a lot of times it happens with me, but you have to do it. You have to leave enough room for your actual hand. Why does that blue look so blurred and my hands look so clear? I don't know. So let me do my hand here. I guess I could have sharpened this pencil. And then you have that bone from that elbow that goes straight, and then you have some more meat. I like to call it meat that comes from behind it. Then you can do your bicep. Why am I doing that in red? I want to photocopy this, so we're going to go here. You have your tricep, goes out and in into the elbow. Well, the elbow comes up, and then you have your tricep. Bicep is going to curve right in here. It tucks in here. in and out. So before I even start to kind of do detail, I'm going to look at it and make sure everything is properly where I want it. I'm going to say properly placed, but properly where I want it. I can take this and bring this down a little bit. Kind of like this one is going back. This was high and this was going to go low. Same thing with the chest. Chest has got to go that way too. High and low. Not too much. Not too much. So then you have your room for, and this little leftover piece is not your shoulders. All of this is your shoulders. You add more to it. Unless he's just like a tiny character. Unless he's, you know, not really a big, broad character. And then you have the delts. Which actually come up there. Same thing for the other one, but your chest is going to be in front of that delt. The rib cage comes in, and then you have your obliques. Just call them love handles. Trying to teach you guys some new anatomy terms. So you have that delt, and where it points at, it separates the bicep from tricep, and your bicep from tricep, yeah. And your something from your bicep from your tricep. Same here. Wherever that point is, you're going to have your bicep come down, and your bicep is the smallest muscle in the arm, whereas your tricep is the bigger one. So as I say to people, if you're trying to bulk up, you're trying to make yourself look big, work on your triceps versus your bicep. That will make your arm look a lot bigger. Now, if I want this guy to be big, I can give him more roundness, and then more here, and a little more there. Now, somebody asked for a request about drawing skinny people, because all I do is a lot of muscular people, which is true, but it's a comic book thing. So I'm working on that skinny video for this guy, or for that. Wow, that just jumped right out of my head. For that subscriber, hope you subscribed. So, okay, here again, where I said at the end. So what I want to do is high up. I'm going to take this in here, about right here, and then take this in here, and it goes in, not straight down. It goes in for your room for those obliques, or your love handles, like that. And it actually goes all the way down into the crotch, because the leg comes up. The leg is like, the muscles comes up, and it's like this for that leg. But of course, you know, you always have your superhero shorts on. So your leg is going to come up here, and this leftover right here is going to be like the buttocks, but you don't really see that, because same thing here, but because he's tilted, turned, you won't see any of this part. So we have your knee. I'll say, okay, I can make this a little shorter, but I kind of like it looking like that. And you have that split between the two muscles that form that knee. They come up. One goes back in. The other one goes over here, and you leave that V in the center. And if you want a bigger character, you just make his thighs a lot bigger, like so. You can make his calves a little bigger. You have bigger wrists and bigger ankles as well. When you start to draw more of a bigger, more powerful, like the difference between like Black Panther and Thor. You know, Thor you would figure is, you know, much bigger than Black Panther. If you have a good artist that won't draw everybody the same size. I don't want to say Hulk, because Hulk used to be big back in the comic book days, but now he's like shrunk to, you know, super bodybuilder size, which is not Hulk. So the same thing, you would give him bigger thighs, you would make that chest more rounder, massiver, and then you definitely give him a lot lats. Like this is a muscular character, so if I did this, if I gave him even more lats way out here and a thinner waist, that would give him that more like that Superman kind of definition. So those are ways, and with this little series that I'm doing with these poses, superhero poses or poses, I don't want to call them basic poses, hero stances, I'm going to kind of go over, you know, a little bit of things and make it smaller, bigger, so maybe even do a skinny guy in between that. So this is what I have so far. Let me get this chest a little bit rounder. For my basic pose, let me get some more muscles in here. So we got this one, we got this little piece, this dip here that comes down, forms this side muscle here and goes back in. And then this one is going to go over to the side, leaving this V. Oh, my throat is dry. I need some water. And we have this, and we have the foot. Now I'm going to put a generic costume on this guy, so show you guys how to do like just costumes or clothes on a character. So if you're doing an ankle, you have one ankle, the inside ankle is always higher than the outside. So if I did this, what I usually do is just do a line like that, and then I'll put that other one there because you have one that's higher than the other, maybe not that high. And a lot of times I'll do this with my foot, and to me that just kind of tells me where the ankles are, just round it off, and then put my foot in there. Put my foot in there. Of course, like I said, this comes around the knee and it goes down and it goes right onto the side of this part, going straight to the ankle. You have this, which you can make more powerful if you choose. Like I could bring this calf up and in like that, and then bring the leg down, give it a little more power, and then just kind of bring this calf out more, depending on, you know, your character. And the same thing with this. I can do this, and then have my foot there. And you should see some toe like this with that. And you can do that by just adding just a little bit, not too much. You don't want to make it look like, you know, you got tennis shoes or something on, but just a little indentation that you will see the front of that foot, that it is curved and not more to the side. And I have blue and yellow today to make my camera angry, so it won't blur on me. So looking at this, looking at it, let me add a little more muscles to this thing. So you have three heads in your delt, but I'm just going to use this just one, just as this line comes in, this collarbone comes in, just one, because you have the three, because your delts go all the way back around here. So if this is the top, this is that line here, your delts go all the way back around here, but you don't see it. If you are looking from the front, you just see that part there, like that. Ink that so you can see it. That's what you see. So when you look, when you go above it, these things go all the way back into his back. Get into that more, like this top view is going to be like, this is his back. The delts are way around here. Right, back to the thing. So this, at this point, as I said, let me add a little more muscles. And then I want to photocopy this and use the original to put a costume on the guy. So when this comes down, usually I'll do my first set of abs. When this comes, that's why you don't want it too high or too low. Do your first set of abs, keeping it round. Remember, this whole thing is round. Back on here, this whole thing is round. So if I'm putting my abs in, my abs are going to be round as well. Hopefully you can see that. Well, I'll use a pen. It's going around and around. Abs are going around and around. So there's my abs right here. And then because they kind of suck in the middle, I'll curve them like this. I'll curve it like that and in and out. And it gives you that same thing on the end. It gives you that ab look, curvy ab look. So, and if I'm not mistaken, I think your second set is your wider set. But people have like abs. Let me show you this and this one, and then you can have this one and this one. People don't have even abs. A lot of people don't have abs that are even. It's just so people that were blessed with that genetics that have that, you know, that even. So you can do your abs any way you choose because it's your character, number one. But, you know, I'm going to make this guy more, I don't know what you call it, in the army. Yeah, when everybody looks the same. I'm still trying to think of the word. It might pop up here if I can't remember it. Some people have 6 abs, some people have 8. I think I saw somebody had 10 abs. So we have that, and then a lot of times I will just go from here and I will just curve this up and this up, just to, you know, and then I can separate these two. Like this is like one big ab, but it's like this bone, and then this coming from here, from that center through the nipple. If the nipple was here, down to this, to the waist. Actually, you have your, oh my God, I know what these are called. I keep forgetting what they're called, but anyway, your ribs. And I believe you see 3 or 5. I guess it depends on how cut the person is. You won't see this there because it's tilted to the side. And then you can get your, if you choose to do your other ones, which I don't really do because to me that makes them look just too hungry. Hopefully you can see that. This blue is like very light. That's why I was using my light. So, all right, so that's my character, and I'm going to photocopy this guy in color. And I'm going to ink it. What are you going to do? This is the part that I'm trying to figure out all last night. How was I going to make a double copy and use one and keep the other one? I know I have to photocopy it in color. But it has to be complete, no extra lines. And I still haven't figured it out today, a new day. So let me do something with the face. He's gonna be looking over here like, huh, you calling me? I'm a hero. Put the eyes somewhere in the middle, nose here, and then the mouth. And I'm gonna give him a generic costume. So I don't know if I'm gonna put a mask on him or not. Looking at everything. I think he is ready to be debuted as a superhero. You won't see this thumb because it's on the side. You know, you won't see the knuckles on that one. So let me figure out what it is I'm gonna do with this thing as far as copying, photocopying or whatever. And then I will be right back in a second. Okay, so from what you just saw to what you see now is what I changed a little bit. I defined his arms a little bit and his delts, and yeah, I think that was it. I just didn't like the arms. As I say, always kind of walk away from your picture and then come back to it. I didn't really walk away from it. I just kind of like stared at it and said, you know, what is it that I don't like about this, or what's wrong with it. So I fixed the arms, give them a little more muscular arms, and yeah. So yeah. Now I'm still trying to figure out what I'm going to do with it. What I'm just, am I going to copy it like this? Am I going to add more to it? Where did my blue pencil go? Round this off here, and I'll add like these dark shadows in the side of the delts. So what I'm doing here is basically is my delts, my ab. I'm just doing this. Make them more rounded. Maybe not this much shadow in it, but I'm doing that, and I'll do like a little diamond or twinkly little star in between there, and then I'll come out like this, bringing this one in like that, bringing this one like that. So basically it's just this for the center of each ab, and just this on the side. So it's just half of that, that's all. And then I'll take my line, and you don't have to connect the lines. Usually if I'm doing more muscular, I'll connect the lines, but if I'm doing less muscles, I don't connect the lines like this. And it's just kind of a shorthand to tell you how much muscles you have. You know, if I'm doing like the hulky type, I'll make it as round as I can. I'll bulk these bad boys out and just make them, you know, rounder. Like this guy, you can grate cheese on this guy's abs, or grind down steel. That's all. It's just a little difference between the two. And as I said, as I get on with the series, I will give more definition or meaning to, you know, how you place it and why you place it, and so the reason and so forth and so on, so that when you start to do other positions, you'll already have that little bit of knowledge of, oh, this goes like this, and this goes like this because of this. And then yeah, nice drawing like a professional, holding a pencil way back here. See, I draw like this. When you go to like college or something, like hold the pencil back here for what? I got no control. But that's for like shading. When they do a lot of shading, they hold the pencil way back like that. But when you're doing some serious comic stuff and you want that muscle, you got to get that pencil under control. You can't be like holding it like some little baby. So yeah, anyway, again, I'm gonna cut this and figure out what I'm gonna do with this. I don't like waiting too long because then it'll go on a pile. Okay, so here we are with the costume. I was going to put a cape on the guy, but I kind of like him better without the cape. Kind of gives him more of a more powerful look versus I don't want to say geeky or dorky. I want to say you know, when some people always want to wear the capes, they kind of give you that you know, oh, I'm a superhero kind of thing. But I think this guy looks more powerful without the cape, so no cape. Not generic, but anyway, no cape. So, and this is just a quick design that I threw across him. You know, if your design looks like this, sorry, I don't know what your design looks like, but this is just the design. And as I said, I may color it at the end. You know, throwing colors in it is something else, but we'll see. We'll see. So I'm gonna go ink this and then do something. It just jumped right out of my head. So continue fast forward. I'm gonna fast motion. I'm gonna ink this. there you have it. I think that's going to be it for this one. I was going to try to color it, but I'm like, nah, it took me like 3 days to figure out, to get this whole thing to this point. Trying to figure out how I was going to do this and do this. So what I want to do, I don't even have to, I was going to recopy this in black and white, and you won't see the red and blue, but maybe I'll do that if I use it for the book. So for now, here you have your 2 drawings, turning it into a character in your hero stance. So this is, again, this is the basic, one of the basic hero poses, and turning your pose into your hero. So one thing I want to point out is whenever you're doing stripes around your costume, you have to kind of make it go round, like around the leg. It can't just be straight across. It has to be around, like you see the bicep sucks in right here. So that would have to curve in and then go around. So instead of just one straight loop, even across the chest, you'd have to like curve it in a little bit and then curve back out. So just something to point out when you start putting like belts and straps and so forth and so on your character. So hopefully I didn't leave anything out, because as I said, it was about 3 days. I started this a couple days ago. So might be something I left out. I'm not sure. I'd have to go back and look at it and re-edit it. So other than that, this is going to be it. No rambling. So I'm going to continue this little pose series and then turning the poses into a full-fledged character. And it's not a bad character. It's kind of tight. I'm happy I left the cape off him. The cape would have just made it too comic booky to me, because he's more like a serious kind of character with just that pose and without that cape. So, and just the basic stripes. I would have no idea what color I would color this. So this is why I'm not going to color. I'm just going to kind of leave it black and white. And yeah, so that's going to be it. I'm gonna stop saying that. I'm going to get started on my next character or pose, and then I will see you guys in the next video. Comment and subscribe if you haven't. All right, and notification bell, please, so that you'll know when I put these things up. All right, and I will see you guys in the next video.